Hi guys, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Monique. For those of you who are new to this channel, I upload 1 to 2 videos in a week. So if you are not a subscriber yet, I would really appreciate it if you would like to subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to click the notification bell so that you will be notified every time I make a new video. Before I start with today's video, I'm going to apologize if you hear any banging in the background because my neighbor seems to be fixing something at their house, so I don't know what's going on. Hopefully you don't hear it, but this sound actually drives me crazy, but we're just going to go straight to the video. Today's video, I'm going to talk about low buy or mindful shopping. If you watch my previous video about the differences between thrift shop and vintage store, you would probably know that I'm really into sustainability in terms of fashion, and I do shop pre-owned or vintage a lot. Now, in recent years, I have tried to practice low buy or mindful shopping. Low buy or mindful shopping doesn't mean I don't buy anything at all in a year. Some people practice that. I really applaud them for doing so, but it's not something that I can do because I am deep down a collector. I like to collect beautiful vintage pieces, and in terms of vintage, if you blink and you pass on one item, you might not find it again in the future. And you know, there's a saying that there's nothing that would haunt you more than the vintage that you did not buy. So I really believe in that because I used to be a vintage seller, and yeah, I try not to pass on a good deal, especially in items that's always been in my forever wish list or items that are collectibles or too good to be true in terms of price. All right, but I do practice mindful shopping. I don't go out there and buy every little thing that I see. Whenever I want to purchase something, I always ask some of these questions to myself, and I try not to buy things just for the spur of the moment. I try to buy things that I fall in love with, or things that I really like, or things that I really need. So why do I practice low buy or mindful shopping? Because sometimes when you are surrounded by people who tend to buy all the time, you tend to feel the same way also, because you tend to think that your life is not complete if you don't buy this one pair of shoes or this bag that is trendy. It's really important to acknowledge the difference between need versus want. Of course, as humans, you always need things that, you know, what you think is maybe beautiful. But by trying to distinguish between need versus want, I am able to eliminate so many things that, you know, I pass on in my shopping adventures, and really focus on things that I really want and things that will complete my collection or things that I really need in my life. And number 2 reason why I practice low buy or mindful shopping is, of course, to reduce excess or waste. As you know, fashion is one of the biggest contributors to the problem that we have nowadays in terms of waste. The rise of fast fashion or really cheap clothing makes people own more items, more articles of clothing, and things that don't last because they are made very poorly, and they just tend to discard these items once it's, you know, get broken or it doesn't fit them properly anymore, just because they can go out there and buy a new one just like that for such a cheap price. Here are a few points that I keep in mind when I go on my shopping adventures. Number 1, avoid impulse purchases. Okay, always have a plan in mind what you need when you go on these shopping adventures. Being here in Kenya, it's easier for me because I don't shop as much here because the stores are limited, and there are a lot of fast fashion stores here as well, which I do not support. Avoid impulse purchases. I always have a list of things that I want to buy. I shop exclusively only when I travel. So before I go travel to a particular place, I have a list of things that I would like to purchase from that place, and therefore it kind of narrows down what I tend to, you know, overbuy. So it really narrows things down. For example, like, you know, maybe next trip I really need a pair of pants, so I focus on trying to get a pair of pants, and everything else is just not a priority. Number two, I focus on quality versus quantity. I don't want to have a lot of clothes but they're all horrible in terms of quality. They break down easily and I can't wear them again only after a few washes. I focus on natural fabric, things that would last a long time. That's why I go with designer or vintage, because vintage items have lasted for many years and it's still in a great condition. And in terms of a shopping designer, in terms of clothing, I try to go for big discounts and try to go for basic items if I can, because of course sometimes I fall in love with a dress or things that just don't really mix and match with a lot of things, but you just fall in love with the item, then you just have to I just have to go for it. Like, you know, like vintage Saint Laurent. I'm talking about Saint Laurent by Yves Saint Laurent. In the past, they always use beautiful wool and beautiful silk, and you could definitely tell if that's Saint Laurent or another brand. Also, when you have so many items in your wardrobe, it makes getting ready very difficult. Wardrobe, and I'm sure every woman have experienced this, where they have a closet full of clothes and nothing to wear. So yeah, try to avoid that by just having maybe less stuff. Before I buy a new article of clothing, I usually ask these questions to myself. I try to buy a new article of clothing if it fills a hole in my closet, which means I need it in my closet, or I need it to replace something, or it's an essential item. Let's say a black t-shirt or a white t-shirt, it's an essential item for me. I usually have a few in my wardrobe. Sometimes you need to replace them because they are such basic items that you wear all the time. And also I ask, and I try to think, if I can I thrift the item, or can I go vintage with the item? Let's say I need a blazer. A blazer is such an easy item to thrift or to go vintage with, as opposed to buying new in a shop. These are the things that I try to consider before purchasing a new article of clothing. But sometimes, of course, I don't deny that I buy something just because it's beautiful and it's the right price and it's good quality items, and it's like, you know, if you get like designer items for 80% or 90% off and it's such a beautiful statement piece, why not? I'm not a minimalist at all, and I don't think I can be. I am kind of a maximalist, but I do try to be mindful about what I have or what I add to my wardrobe. Last but not least, I try to avoid the big trends, stick with the basics, or stick with the uniform, my daily uniform if I can, you know, like an oversized shirt, like really like a soft sweater, a really nice pair of pants, great skirt, you know, things like that. I do try to have those basics in my wardrobe because it makes dressing up much easier. Also, it lasts forever. It doesn't matter what season, it doesn't matter what year. If you go with the big trends, you can only wear it maybe for a season, and then next season it's not on trend anymore. You can't really wear it. Try to avoid big trends if you can, unless you're really in love. Again, the caveat of all of this is that if you fall in love with something, can't stop thinking about it, then go for it, you know, because dressing up should be fun, and you know, shopping should be a fun experience. It should not be a chore, of course. Those are things that I usually consider before buying anything in my wardrobe. Let me know in the comment section down below if you have any tips or tricks in terms of shopping. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on my next one. Bye.